Hello everyone, I'm Sri Lakshmi M and welcome to the next episode of Alumni Talks. Today we have with us an amazing individual, Saraswathi Chandrasekharan, who is the Associate Vice President and Senior Principal in Organizational Development at Infosys. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Sri. Thank you so much for having me here.
We're glad to have you here. So today we're looking forward to have a wonderful conversation which includes both how your life went in TAPMI as well as how the change from being an MBA student to being a new joinee to being the current you right now.
Sure.
So just to start with, even though the roads and infrastructure has changed with TAPMI, the soul still remains the same. So how does it feel to come back to your campus and address the students?
First of all, it's been 20 years now since I came to TAPMI and since I graduated from TAPMI. So yeah, you're right, the buildings have changed. The campus is much huge. For us, I think Manipal was our campus. TAPMI was just two buildings. There was an administrative block and the academic block. It feels absolutely amazing. You know, it's so nice to see all the bright young faces. I see all the senior batch a little too serious. But the first year batch seemed to be very excited to be here, and I'm happy that TAPMI chose to invite me and looking forward to the induction.
Right. And an important fact in everybody's life is awards and recognition. They act like a motivating factor to everybody. Now, as you have become part of the Business World HR 40 Under 40 Award, what does it mean to you and how has it impacted your career life?
I think, reward in a way kind of justifies the effort that you had put in over the years, right? I think no one works for a reward or no one works for a specific award. You work for the fun, you work for enjoying what you're doing, and I think once you enjoy what you're working on, excellence follows. Now, what has changed after getting the award is more recognition. Right? Because more, of course, in the age of social media, you also need to amplify it. I don't think anybody would have known I'd got the award if I had not put it in my LinkedIn title. It opens more doors for you because now there is another third entity who's kind of recognized your achievement or recognized your capability. And there are others who hence want to also tap on to that and hence reach out to you and want to speak more to you, etc. I think the fact that, like I said, no one works for the award. The award doesn't change a person. It just maybe makes you grow further in your career.
Absolutely. Well said regarding the LinkedIn part, because today so many students are running behind, developing the perfect LinkedIn profile. So a potential recruiter might find me interesting. I guess it's the same rat race when you go up the ranks also.
See, at the end of the day, as you mature in your career, you realize that what's out there is partial truth, right? Just because someone writes a lot of articles on LinkedIn and is maybe LinkedIn's top voice, etc., doesn't necessarily mean that they are perfect, right? Or they are great in everything. People tend to show only the side that they want to show.
Exactly.
There is a side which only the ones who work with them might know, right? So the rat race, it's a rat race if you believe it's a rat race. If it's your own race where you're not competing with others, but you're competing with yourself, you're competing with what you were back earlier, and you're hoping you're better than what you were before, right? I think that's the mindset one develops over many, many years of working. Because you realize that as you grow in your career, folks who studied with you, some in whatever aspect, may be ahead of you, some may not be, some have decided to take on a very different journey. Mm-hmm. People have decided not to even be in the whole corporate world. Mm-hmm. So each their own, right? So success at the end of the day is what one makes of it. Right? So yeah, the rat race, I would say, personally doesn't exist.
Right. Now, just to go through your career, how does a day in Infosys look like for you?
Yeah, so for me, I've been at Infi now close to 15 years, and I never imagined I would be able to stay in an organization for so long. I'm typically a very impatient person. I'm impatient I get bored very easily. So it's important to have constantly, new things to do. So for me, what Infi gave me that way is, it's a large organization. But at the end of the day, there is this constant urge to change and wanting to do things differently than what we did before, and that keeps me going. So my everyday work, there is a lot of firefighting. So my role is in the corporate function. So organization development is a corporate HR role. I'm responsible for the career structure in the company. We call it the career architecture. I'm responsible for what defines career growth. How do you do career development, career movement? So everything associated with careers and org design is my portfolio right now. So my daily job involves, I would maybe split it into 3 parts. One part is to think of new solutions for emerging business problems. There could be attrition for some specific talent group. So what is the talent solution that we want to think of for them? That could be one kind of work. There could be a program you've already implemented in the past and maybe it's going well, not going well, and you have employees raising issues and concerns. So there is a whole set of work around that. The third for me and at Infi, because of the scale of our organization, is the digitization piece. Anything that we implement, we focus on, making sure that we're able to reach the larger organization because employees are spread globally. Whatever solution has to, at the end of the day, reach the nth individual. So I spend a lot of time with our internal IT function, where we give them requirements, and Infi typically designs a lot of these systems internally. And so I would really split my work into these 3 parts, and then of course the fourth most important part is working with my team, guiding them, collaborating with them, helping them create the solutions, helping them move ahead in their own careers as well.
Since you've mentioned that you've been with Infosys for 15 years, that's a very long time to be in an institution. In an organization kind of grows on you. So what is your advice, I wouldn't say in today's world, but what is your 2 cents that you can give to people who wants to change career? Like people always say if you get a hike, please change. But sticking with a organization, the difference versus skipping every 3 years.
Yeah, so there's no right answer to that question, right? To each their own, like I said. I personally have 2 beliefs. One is, I feel a rolling stone gathers no moss. So if people jump jobs purely for the hike, they are not gaining depth. So you don't become a content leader, you don't become an SME in your space, and at some stage in your career, it will reach where you're paid much more than the content that you bring to the table.
Right.
So it may cause a harm at some point. Not to say that it's wrong to change jobs every few years. I wouldn't say that. It depends on the level of learning that you're getting in a particular role or in a particular organization. So for me personally, it is learning that keeps one going. And as I was coming here today, I saw under TAPMI's logo, it was written that, it's about lifelong learning. And I think that's so true. Because if you're learning, you're learning something new, which brings you joy, it brings you happiness, and then that keeps you going. So in my personal view, jumping jobs few years is absolutely fine. Nothing wrong in it, as long as you're jumping for the right reasons. You're jumping for learning something, you're jumping so that you go to a new, more exciting role. If moving jobs purely for compensation, somewhere in the long-term career, of course you make a lot of money, no harm in that, but will you be fulfilled is the question.
Now everybody, this working landscape has actually changed. People want to sit in their house, offices come to home is what they say. Now as an HR, How do you manage? There's a lot of people working at home, there's a lot of people at office, some people travel and work. How do you manage and bring it all as an...
Yeah. So I think firstly, managing all of this is the manager's job. So as HR, we are really, putting in place mechanisms, programs, processes, policies, whatever you want to call it, which will facilitate it in an easier manner, right? So work from home, I think, during the pandemic, everyone was working from home. Yes, we did feel the fact that there was a certain absence of social, interactions, and that is where the whole aspect of wellness became important.
Yeah.
Right? So today, most organizations are insisting on employees coming into office at least a few days a month. What's going to happen definitely is hybrid is here to stay. I don't think it will reach a stage where you can insist that people come into work every single day, but people need to come into work to have those social interactions with their team members, have a face to the one you've been chatting with. Of course, you have a video face, but a face, physical, face-to-face interaction is very different. So most organizations are bringing in people when they have to do like an offsite, or they have to do a team meeting, or you have to brainstorm together and come up with a solution. So as HR, what we need to do is to enable the, I would say the HR processes in a way that it doesn't alienate one group of people, right? Now, there could be one set of folks who, because of various reasons, could be medical, could be otherwise, where they maybe are forced to work from home for a long-term period. Now, you don't want them to lose out in the long run. So how would you create your outcomes that you expect from them? How would you establish the outcomes? How would you measure those outcomes in an objective manner? How would you ensure that they have a career path which keeps them going, and it's not just about being visible with the right people? So objectivity in performance measurement and objectivity in determining how people will grow is one aspect of the element of HR. The other is the element of wellness. Right, and we spoke about it just some time back, that as people began to work more and more from home, the whole aspect of what is their mental fitness, right? So physical fitness was one aspect, but mental fitness becomes all the more important, because sometimes the mind can play games. The mind imagines things that maybe didn't exist, etc. So those are times when you need a person to reach out to. You need to be able to be comfortable talking to them. So how, as an organization, you create that environment so that they can speak up, right? And they are able to then get better and really focus on their wellness.
Absolutely. Because right now mental health and people working home, having somebody to talk to is all very, very important. Now, as MBA students, we're graduating. There is a lot of MBA students getting graduated every year. Lots, to be honest. Every third person you see is an MBA graduate. But what can we do as students to stand out from the lot, as well as potential recruiters? What do they look for in a student? Because if it's academics, there are a bunch of students with academics. But something that I can say I'm different. What will that be?
Okay. So I'll answer the question in two parts, right? I think academics will open the first door for you, right? But academics alone won't sustain people in the long run, and that is the reason your colleges, like what TAPMI does, is the holistic development. You are right now part of an alumni relations committee, right? Like that, you have multiple committees and multiple extracurricular events and activities. You're forced to work in teams. You're forced to, provide your assignments together, collaborate. I think the kind of skills people pick up in all of these, it's difficult to assess it while they are in college, but as they work and as they, through their career, when they work in different organizations, when they work in teams, etc., the ones who had a holistic development while they were studying are the ones who succeed further. Because academics can take you up to a certain extent. That's not to say that academics is not important. It is important because you need to continue to learn, right? And with the constant changing dynamics around, if you have to be, if you have to be effective in your respective role, you need to know what's the latest in your space of work. But that itself is again a skill, right? The skill to learn, and relearn. So that's one part of what will differentiate MBA students, the different ones, the ones who have had a holistic development where they've had their share of fun. They've had the academics, they've had they've participated in extracurriculars. They are the ones I think who will shine. In terms of skills that corporates look for, definitely the ability to articulate oneself, and most importantly in an interview, to just be yourself, right? I think recruiters are very sharp.
Yes.
The recruiters who come to hire MBA students are all veterans in a way. They've been on the other side many years back, and they know when something is a put on, and when they know something is not genuine. So being oneself and focus on the skills that you've developed. What am I good at? Am I good at communicating? Am I good at problem solving? So think of scenarios of where you've been able to exhibit that skill. Think of scenarios of where, in a team situation, there was conflict and how, someone helped resolve the conflict. Now, it depends on the kind of work. If it's a marketing kind of a job, if it's a brand marketing, what have they done? What kind of projects, etc. have they done while they are here, which help bring out those skills, right? I think that's what's important.
Right. Now, since it's all a little formal, let's move into a quick rapid fire round.
Sure.
Where I'll just put in few words. You can just say what comes to your mind. Maybe in a feeling, it could be a situation that you had in your time.
Sure.
Okay. So first, TAPMI.
Fun.
Infosys.
Content.
Diversity, equity and inclusion.
Infosys.
Good. Leadership.
Infosys.
Role model.
Tough one. Very tough. My mother.
Happiness.
My family.
Childhood.
Hyderabad.
Good. Now for the $1 million question, which every HR asks every student. But I'm asking you today, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Very, very tough. Sri, I've never planned in chunks of 5 years ever. I think it's always been, right now, are you doing what you enjoy?
Yes.
Right? And I think the right opportunity always comes in if it's the right thing for you. So 5 years down the line, I really don't know what I would be doing. I might still be with Infosys. I don't know.
But it's important to take one step at a time, I guess.
Yeah. So 5 years. See, I've worked now for 20 years.
Yes.
Right. So another 5 years means nothing. Right. So when you're starting your career and you say 5 years, it actually seems like a lot. But when you work for 20 years, 5 years seems nothing. So really, haven't really planned that ahead.
But I can see, as a student, I can see how TAPMI instilled those amazing skill set which helped you to move forward and reach where you are today. And as an individual also, I'm sure you would have developed every stage of your life, be it a failure that you face, be it the success, be it the awards and the recognition. And I'm extremely glad that you came back to share it with the students, because it's important to give back to the society, just like how you gained it.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely, extremely thankful. I would like to thank you on behalf of the whole Alumni Relations Committee for being with us today, and on behalf of TAPMI students, because sharing those snippets as HR, where when HR comes and interviews you, it's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We want you to come back to the campus again, visit
Sure.
us, and have an amazing time.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sri. Thank you.
Thank you.